Good morning. Happy Monday. I have my Neuro Coffee in hand as usual. Hope you have yours. I had a bunch of questions that rolled over from this past week's Q&A, and so I wanted to address one of those this morning. So this comes from Alex, and Alex asks, what are your thoughts on lifting belts as an aid to create compression in individuals who struggle to do so? Do you think it provides anything as a teaching feedback tool, or is it a little more than a temporary band-aid to the issue? And so, yeah, we can use it as a band-aid if we wanted to, but let's try to use this thing constructively. Let's just say that we want to use it as an element of feedback, and I think we can do so. But let's look at one of the extremes to give us a frame of reference. So let's use powerlifters. So a powerlifter will use a belt, and we'll actually use a cue to push out into the belt in an attempt to create a much stronger intra-abdominal pressure. So actually a stronger exhalation strategy to produce force. But what it does, so to push out into the belt, what they have to do is they have to create a compressive force from the superior aspect and from the inferior aspect of the abdomen to create the width, so to speak. And so what this is an exhaled position of the pelvic diaphragm. So it's a concentrically oriented pelvic diaphragm. And this is what actually allows a powerlifter to lift weight upward. So it's not just the lower extremities that lift the weight. It's the capacity to create this upward movement inside the body using this concentrically oriented pelvic diaphragm. So if I have a client or a patient that's dealing with a pelvic diaphragm that can't capture this concentric orientation, what we may do is we'll re-educate them using a box squat, as we often do, because it controls and limits how much of this descent or eccentric orientation of the pelvic diaphragm would be allowed. But what if we took a belt and we created a little bit of compressive force on the abdomen, which would push down and gives them a little bit more feedback to push up against? So if we create some intra-abdominal pressure with the belt, and then teach them to push upward against that, so to compress the abdominal contents in addition to the compression of the belt, what we might do is we might get some feedback that allows them to capture that concentric orientation. And so what we would see is we would see elements of speed off the box change, or the ability to recapture some hip internal rotation would also be indicative of the fact that they're concentrically orienting the pelvic diaphragm. And then over time, what we could do is just slowly reduce how much pressure we're allowing to be created by the belt, and so they can actually learn to create this pressure using their own abdominal force and then the concentric orientation. So over time, what we can do is gradually reduce all of this feedback until they can do it independently. So Alex, I think this is a really, really good question and potentially useful under some circumstances. So we can use the belt rather than just using it as a band-aid or as the performance enhancer as a powerlifter would. And we can turn this into a rehabilitation or a performance training tool. So Alex, thanks for your question. I hope that was useful, and I will see you guys tomorrow.